Welcome to the podcast, Robert. It's great to have you on. Do you mind giving us a bit of an introduction about yourself and what you guys do at HomeStack?
Yeah, Robert Arauco here, VP of Sales over at HomeStack. Essentially, what we do is a fully personalized white label solution for apps for teams, brokerages, and individual agents throughout North America. In North America, there's big portals like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com that has really won the hearts and the usage of mass amounts of people of all generation. They got into mobile very early. Web obviously has a place in this world. It's not going anywhere, but when you look at mobile addiction, it's at an all-time high by all generations. So the stats, show that the 77 to 97 year olds are sourcing search on a phone now. So 12 years ago, we saw the direction of mobile and knew these companies would dominate. So we jumped in early and decided to build apps that look similar to these platforms but offer a very concierge, personalized experience that connects to existing tech stacks and just takes realtor branding to a whole new level because now they can engage via the phone and different things like that.
Interesting. So, I guess that would tie into the value proposition of HomeStack is the mobile app. So, I guess, how do you sell HomeStack and that solution?
Yeah, it's changed throughout the years, right? Like 12 years ago, it was the big idea. App Store is still kind of new. People thought juggernauts like Zillow would be going out of business by now, and that was the complete opposite. Now they're a brokerage, so they're like directly competing, with realtors as a real estate company. So yeah, early on, it was, hey, here's the vision. Here's why you should be on a phone. Zillow and all these companies, are not favorable for your business. So this is why you need your own. And it's getting to a point now where it's still a very unsaturated solution. I'd say less than 1% of realtors right now currently own their own app. But now we're seeing technology go full speed ahead in mobile. So I'd say it's a combination of people that just get it because they're like, yeah, I'm on my phone all day and I love my Instagram app. I love all these different apps. I want my own. And if it looks similar to these platforms and I can put my vendors and all these things, in one place, this makes sense. So when it comes to selling the product now, I'd say there's a general aspect to it where it's kind of a no-brainer. It's like if you're not on somebody's phone, what are you doing? But we do cater to each individual business model, whether that's just the agent that wants to give this at open houses to people they meet, or this is a mega team or brokerage that's leveraging this tool to recruit, retain, centralize resources, and turn this into a huge marketing play. We kind of fit and check a lot of boxes off there.
Interesting. So, in terms of, build your own real estate apps, each agent has their own, or agency has their own app. Is that how it works? Instead of using the big guys like Zillow and some of the other platforms, is that how it works? So they have their own platform, people can view the listings, or how does that work?
Yeah, so Zillow and the big dogs, they've done a lot of good work on figuring out what the consumer's looking for. In the United States, we have something called the MLS, not the football, organization, but a technology centralization where realtors throw their listings into the system and it aggregates the data out to different, websites, portals, and different things. So the MLS is like the true source of info for realtors and consumers. The issue there is they didn't innovate at all. So they're getting emails. Emails are going into junk folders. When being clicked on, they're ugly. They're not user friendly. There's multiple steps. So companies like Zillow and Redfin and all these other guys, they took advantage of this. And they're like, hey, let's make it easy. Let's make it sexy. Let's make it fun. And now there's SNL skits of like listing, I don't know, listing porn. The thing that it's turned into a whole thing where like people aren't even like necessarily looking to buy or sell, but they love just going on there and like looking at the $10 million listings, and they get very like addicted to the experience. So whether it's an agent, whether it's a brokerage, they can offer a high quality similar experience to the big dogs, but now it's like, hey, you can be the local expert. I mean, you're already providing consumers with preferred vendors, places to eat, relocation information. Like, why not centralize that on a phone? Separate yourself from the Zillows of the world by not just providing a great search experience where they can communicate, updating from the MLS more accurately. And all you really got to do is market this, talk about it, and send a text message to somebody to capture them. This will flow into your CRM, talk to that system, and this will be a revolving door to where you're not just generating opportunities, but now that you're on their phone, you're staying top of mind. Push notifications are going to, average 92% engagements, and listings are great, but why don't you send them a video? Why don't you send them the blogs or the things you're already doing, but leverage the app to drive them to that content?
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's a pretty good value proposition. What's the competitive landscape like for you? Is there many competitors out there offering a similar or the same platform and service, or are you really standing out from the crowd?
We were definitely one of the originals. There was a couple companies in the space, but they were more towards the brokerage solutions, whereas we started the opposite, targeting individual agents and then morphed into teams and brokerages. The space is starting to get a little more crowded, but there's two other companies that do exactly what we do. Whereas if you think about like website developers, there's probably thousands of them, thousands of options. So I'd say it's still a very unsaturated space, but now you're getting companies that are getting tens of millions in funding to build towards mobile. Now, the advantage we have is we have 12 years of code, tons of experience, feedback to where we can build fast, break things, adjust, and we've positioned ourselves pretty well to be best of class. So we're currently the best of class.
Nice, nice. And so over that time, how has the sales process looked like? In the early days, getting to the first seven figures of revenue and then scaling up from there. What did that sales process look like?
Those are some fun days, man. Be hitting the pavement, shaking hands, wasn't all on Zoom, right? The networking events and paper order forms. I remember we were actually, pretty snazzy early on. Year 2 into the business, so 10 years ago, we were one of the first guys to start swiping credit cards on our phones with a little like attachment you'd put on the phone. And, those were glory days, man. It's like, hey, the card's not working. We gotta figure this out compared to the paper form where you're kind of in a situation where you just can't get a hold of them after that. It's evolved a lot since, and at this point I'm on Zoom 8 to 10 hours a day, managing a sales team in the field myself, developing partnerships with large brands. My FaceTime, revolves around conferences now and certain networking events. So it's a digital world, man. I can be in California, Texas, Florida, New York, all on the same day and not have to fly anywhere or drive anywhere.
For sure. So, what are some of those main strategies that you're using at the moment, and I guess planning to continue to use? Like, for example, events, conferences, that sort of thing. Are you doing obviously like digital marketing? What are some of the strategies that you guys are using?
Yeah, so the grind, I don't think the grind can ever disappear, right? Like you have to have the grit, you have to have that tough skin, especially because this isn't a no-brainer yet. Like websites, you need one. You have to have a web presence of some capacity, right? So in a realtor's mind, that's more of an automatic decision, whereas with this, it could be mistaken as kind of that like shiny object syndrome, like just because it's not extremely common yet. So sorry, you're gonna have to probably cut this part. But what was the tail end of that question again?
In terms of the sales strategies.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. So
that's good.
the one-on-one touch is never gonna go away, but through marketing, through realtor brands that have a lot of notability, talking about their app, sharing their app, joining us on webinars, us producing valuable content to the community. And I think my video is going bad here. You're going to have a lot of editing to do. Sorry, man.
So good.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in not just like you obviously have to hunt. There's the hunt mentality in sales, but like I'm a huge believer in value and giving and really becoming an expert in anything that you do. So a lot of the things we do aren't just sales driven. It's like, all right, here's a social media kit. Here's 10 tips on how to, better brand yourself. Here's an open house script, things like that of value. And then when it comes to these networking events, just being in the room, that's where the magic happens, right? Having conversation, getting referred by your clients to their friends and people that are at these events, hitting the dance floor, showing off the moves when needed. These little things show that I'm a human being and I'm here for, a good time. I'm here to enhance their lives and their business. And with AI creeping up on everything, I can see AI taking over SDR units at some point. Heck, I've seen technology already where like you can record a demo and it makes you speak 100 different languages. That type of sales is probably coming, but I don't see AI replacing the human element of the in-person interactions and rubbing elbows and building relationships outside of just selling a product.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Robert. And what are some of the activities that your sales team are doing on a daily basis to get new customers coming on board?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things, right? Like you have the grittiness of prospecting. Who's the right fit? How do we get in front of them? We're still making calls. We're still calling people. And in real estate, it's a much tougher ask because these guys literally get 10 to 15 sales calls per day. So how do you differentiate on that call? What are you saying to, have things click early to where you could have the best product in the world, but as soon as they sniff out that you're a vendor, it's, I don't want to hear this. Or real estate's been in a tough position the last 2 years with interest rates rising. Money is not flowing the way it used to. So we're really targeting the top 10% from that side of things. And then we pay a lot for SEO. We pay a lot for PPC ads, the events that we're doing, the partnerships that we formed with large brands where they're also marketing us. It's just a combination of it all.
Yeah, nice. Sounds good. And then what does the next, say, year or 3 years look like for HomeStack and growth plans?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it all. I thought we would have gotten to this point much earlier from a just being goal driven, from a revenue standpoint, from a client, understanding what we do type standpoint where this becomes more of a standard. But I think that like anything in life, timing is everything and our plans are only as strong as we think they are when ultimately the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, has a different ideas for things. So just embracing the now, not letting a blueprint that doesn't go your way shatter your reality and demotivate you and staying the course. So I'd say in 1 to 3 years from now, I can see us growing our sales unit by 10 times. Very curious to see how AI changes the game with personalization in marketing. Like I'm testing videos on Loom right now where it's like, hey Alex, this is why you should talk to me, and then you're changing the name Alex to a different name, right?
Yeah.
So 1 to 3 years, I can see from a revenue standpoint us 10xing, where we are today.
Yeah, nice. There's some big growth plans. And what do you think would there be any one thing that you think would be holding you back from getting to that mark, be it product-wise, sales, marketing?
Really, I think the only thing that could hold us back is ourselves. We're self-funded. That's another question. Like, do we ever take the seed money? Who's going to be the right fit? And when you do that, the whole game changes. There's a board to answer to. There's the politics of everything going on when you do take that step. So it's been fun. The self-funded route is truly that bootstrap mentality where every penny counts. And we're at a point now where taking bigger risks just makes sense. The last thing we want to do is sit on our hands and not take bigger risks in certain investments to put us in certain positions to land these bigger deals and then just let somebody come out of the blue, blindside us because they have $200 million and they can do it a little faster.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Sounds good. And is there any plans of exiting at any point in time in the future? I'm sure that's probably on the cards at some stage in the journey.
It's always, there's always potential for that. We're never going to say no. But yeah, it's either going to be an exit or we turn into a quote unquote Zillow for realtors and brokerages, but we'll be doing much more for that community.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, it's been great to have you on today, Robert. And yeah, great to chat and see what you guys are doing at HomeStack. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, just homestack.com. Homestack, like stack of papers.
Awesome, man. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Alex.